Hello and welcome to Codpass Podcast, the podcast for all your podcast pastime needs.
Hello and welcome to Going to the Pictures. Today is the exciting day we get to reveal the grand plans of Harrison Ford jumping the gun. And yeah, indeed. I've been looking forward to this day for a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming.
So, Harrison Ford jumping the gun. I know what's popping into your head. I can see it. It's Harrison Ford jumping through a window, smash glass going, bullets firing, all of that jazz.
General badassery.
We didn't want to go for the predictable,
no, it was
did
obvious.
we, Tabby?
And I feel that I think we've got a real gem on our hands. And I'm going to be surprised if we don't get calls about this.
I mean, it's been a bit quiet.
It has.
But
putting the feelers out now.
Exactly.
And please write in if you want to pick this up as your project, because we're in. And Harrison, if you're listening, come on, man.
Come on, Mr. Ford.
This,
I've always supported Ford.
Yeah.
He created the cars, right?
Yeah.
Going from someone who knows something about cars, seeing your deadpan eyes. Yeah. Anyway, so the idea
It's very literal.
Okay, it's very literal. Jumping the gun, Harrison Ford. So it starts with Harrison maybe in a desert, I don't know, a place with a lot of running room.
I feel like it's near an oasis, actually.
Okay, all right. So he's got enough room to make a run up.
Yeah, like a good run, maybe a little round.
Because we weren't lying about the jumping.
Yeah, there's a lot of jumping.
We weren't even lying about the guns.
The guns. There's a lot of guns.
It starts though with maybe give me a gun.
A snub-nosed pistol.
A snub-nosed pistol. It's on the ground. Okay, it's sitting there.
Just chill, unloaded, safety's on.
And then out of nowhere, Harrison Ford running, full pelt, jumps, clears the gun.
Cleared.
He jumps over the gun. So he jumps the gun, okay? I'm sure now you're seeing the connection. Harrison makes flight over the gun. Now, it starts reasonably easy.
Yeah, like anyone can do that.
I mean, he's got a step that's bigger than that.
Yeah.
The width and length of
this
that
dude
gun.
can fly planes. He can jump over a tiny snub-nosed pistol.
Yeah.
He can probably jump over an AK. But you'll have to watch the movie to find out.
Flying planes is a transferable skill.
It is.
From jumping distances because you're flying.
Yeah, you're flying. That's the biggest jump you can do.
Naturally. Anyway, so it starts with the snub-nosed, and we push our way up. Maybe we go to, I don't know, do we take it to like a pistol?
I think a pistol and then a Glock.
And then a Glock, move our way up.
Hunting rifle.
Now, where it
RPG.
really gets interesting is when we get up to the RPG section, where you can see in Harrison's eyes there's a little bit more doubt. And within each jump, there's a little bit more risk.
You get that, but at the same time, this is why Harrison is such a versatile actor, though. Because, he's a wonder to work with, because you see that flicker of doubt as he thinks, can I make this jump?
Can I jump this?
But then you see that spark of determination where you just go, yes. Even if he doesn't, he's going to give it his all.
I like to think that there's a gun that shoots for him to start running. But every time it gets bigger. And every time he runs a little bit before the gun shoots.
Yes. So at the end of the day, it's all pointless because he's disqualified for running too fast.
And also, he's jumped the gun twice then. So
amazing.
You go. Anyway, maybe I'm looking a little too far ahead here. Maybe we're looking into sequels, but I'm thinking we get
I think this could be a whole 7 movie.
It's
setology.
We could call it lethal. No, Lethal Weapon's already it's already a thing.
Some lethal weapons.
Trip hazard.
Trip hazard.
Anyway, this is more of a documentary than anything, so we don't really need supporting cast. But I would like New Zealand famous child, well, not a child actor, but he was a big childhood hero of mine, Tim Gunn. I wouldn't mind if he wanted to lie down to be vaulted over by Harrison.
And of course, all of the clothes that Harrison and Mr. Gunn will be wearing will be provided by Rod and Gunn.
Rod and Gunn, yes. Mostly Gunn. Let's be honest. Rod,
he's been having a bit of an off year, I think, with seasons.
I don't know. He came out with the fingerless gloves. They weren't a big hit because they still had thumbs.
Why?
Why?
What have you got against thumbs?
Exactly. Anyway, so there's the movie idea, Harrison. The ball's in your park. Tim Gunn, likewise. But I see this as being a very profitable.
I think this is a career maker for you, Harrison.
Things have gone a little slower
since
after
you died
the
Star Wars and that other one.
Tim
Blade
Gunn,
Runner,
I don't even know where you... Oh, he's on radio now. I love you, Tim. And that's why...
maybe you want to do a guest spot with us, Tim.
Yeah, throw that out there. Test the water. It's feeling pretty tepid, but, jump on in, Tim. So, it is that time of the podcast, Tabby, where we are hitting the reels.
Oh my gosh.
So hard this week, the reels will be hit. Okay? If there was a fisherman fishing, his fishing rod would be slapped out of his hand.
Whoa.
That's how hard I'm hitting the reels. Okay. Today, I've been thinking about this for a while. Okay? The idea of, being that we're in a world where the network, like social media has taken over.
Yes.
All right. People are able to get data and information from you so quickly, so accessibly. And surveillance, they can you can basically find anyone in the world.
Very easy, without any real...
In the Western world, maybe. In anywhere that has that level of network infrastructure beneath it, you can find them.
Yeah.
So what I always find quite amusing is... So first of all, Terry, I feel like every person in the world has a dedicated person to watch them.
Oh, definitely. And they sit in a little room by themselves.
A little hub.
They have to wear a suit, and they've got the headphones on, and they just... pour through all the data.
Yeah, they've got like a Mountain Dew over here, like some Doritos over here, and they just they just watch what I do.
Well, I imagine that they can never leave, and so it's sort of intravenous Mountain Dew and Dorito dust.
It's
really crushed.
It's a machine that crushes it and just presses it into the... Yeah, and there's other tubes. We won't go into the other tubes, but there are other tubes.
There are other tubes.
Okay, naturally.
There are lots of tubes.
Anyway, their sole job, this little chap's sole job is to watch me and my web doings. Okay? So I always think about this. This is one of those, every time I wake up in the morning, it's like, I wonder what I will produce as a film for this guy, or this girl. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So I was looking at my history recently, and in a conversation over dinner, we wanted to find out about the Jewish religion. I wanted to know whether there was an afterlife, and so I searched it up on my, smartphone. So obviously, my counterpart in the other, in the I don't know,
the institution, the
network. Okay, my chap in the network is there. He's learning like I was. And then I'm looking at Blues Brothers 2000 for another segment that we did together. I think that my web history would be alarming. It would be concerning. They're just not even in the obvious ways, just like my mum would be so disappointed if she knew what pondered in my head. How to upload a YouTube video. Press on the upload button in the top right corner. Oh God. Stupid questions. But because I'm hidden behind this anonymity, I have the ability to ask these without looking like a fool. However, Tabby, I do indeed look like a fool to this one person. And now I've just had a little snippet, a little sneak preview of Tabby's history, which is about 90% just Google searches of Ted Danson.
I love his bow ties.
Whoa, that makes me so happy. That's every day for a month. That's next level.
Do you want to see my other most recent Google search?
Harrison Ford jumping. And that is important because...
It's surprisingly lackluster. Like, there's that one.
But it's because the movie's not out yet, Jumping the Gun with Harrison.
But he hasn't done it. I mean, this is the only one where he actually is jumping.
Oh.
Which I think that's a good picture.
That's a good picture.
But the rest, he's standing. That's a little... he's just walking. He's having a stand.
I've got to tell you, this segment would be so much better if it wasn't just audio. The audience could actually see the pictures you're scrolling through.
Google it and scroll while you're listening.
Currently, it's just you and I looking at a phone together. Yeah, there's a picture of Harrison Ford jumping out of an aeroplane with an anchor
and his hand looks weirdly disjointed.
Very poorly photoshopped.
Yeah. Anyway, this is not real.
Back to the reels. I want to get you back into that head frame. Okay, so there's somebody who is dedicated to watching your network happenings. Okay, what would be most like? What would you fear most? I mean, there's the obvious things, but for me, it's just that people realize how ridiculous my brain is. You know, how stupid the things I think are.
Yeah.
Because I'm very careful when I was generally I think about things and I like mull them over before sharing.
Yeah.
However, you know, when I'm browsing the net, that middleman, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone on vacation.
Like, what do penguins dream about?
Exactly. Can you do that? Can you
seals,
actually?
Yeah, all right.
Because now I'm fascinated about what penguins dream about.
Do orcas have a moral compass? I mean, they don't. They're fucking monsters.
Orcas?
Yeah, orcas. They're awful. They kill...
A moral compass.
They, like, torture seals for shits and gigs.
For whimsical play.
What do penguins
dream? I mean, do penguins
have knees?
Do they? They must have knees.
They have knees.
Do they have knees?
I don't know. What? Dude,
now, not so much part of hitting the reels, but just another little part that I wanted to add to that knee discussion. My partner, we've been together now a long time. I'm not going to specify the exact time because she's going to get upset that I don't know the actual time. Now I'm recording it. Anyway, she managed to convince a group of her friends that she didn't have any kneecaps.
Oh God, I remember that. And I was part of that. I was part of convincing these people that she did not have kneecaps.
If we do find out that you know penguins don't have kneecaps, which I'm pretty. I mean, they don't.
I'm 90% sure they do.
Then she would be in common with them at least. But she does have kneecaps.
But the
or
problem,
else little floppy legs would go both ways.
The problem that I was part of that initial ruse, and I forgot and convinced myself that she didn't have kneecaps.
Yeah, and she even got people to touch the kneecaps and identify. Oh, there's definitely not a kneecap there. Well, there was. Okay, everyone who got fooled by my partner, you well played to her. Anyway, back to the reels.
Okay, so. This is not actually pulled back what I thought it would.
Okay.
So I've googled what do penguins dream about.
Yep.
And it's meaning of the dream symbol.
Oh, can you tell us about the dream symbol of penguins?
Yeah, so dreaming about a penguin in an igloo foretells problems, but that are not as serious as they first may seem.
Yeah, okay. I don't really buy into that.
The same dream refers to your feeling of being burdened by emotionality and sensitivity, but also lethargy. It indicates you need to achieve some balance in life, Adam.
Yes, and currently I'm
weird.
feeling very imbalanced. I'm also very unflexible, just a fact, if you're interested. I can't touch my toes while I'm standing.
I just put my toe in my mouth.
You did. You consumed part of your body. Not a cannibal.
Not a cannibal.
But yeah, no, I'm like a really tough piece of wood that just doesn't bend.
Not sinewy at all.
No. Brittle though.
Brittle.
I can hear the microfibrils cracking.
Microfibrils.
Okay. So I'm gonna just end this segment by letting you all know that yes, there's someone watching you.
Yeah.
It is 100% true. I don't know what they look like. I envision the Oompa Loompas from the amazing Charlie and the Chocolate Factory film.
Huh.
The original one, though.
The original.
Not
yeah,
the new one.
Yeah.
Gee.
Well, obviously. I mean, that could be a new hit in the reels.
That I feel it should be. Just Tim Burton in general.
Yeah.
Jeez.
What a person.
Too real, though. Too real. So, I've just received a call in, Tabby.
It wasn't a good call, was it?
It wasn't a good call. I have a confession to make. I did a doozy. I screwed up.
You did, didn't you?
I screwed up. Okay, I accidentally name dropped the wrong gun in Harrison Ford Jumps the Gun, or Jumping the Gun. I was unknowingly talking about the guy from Project Runway, Tim Gunn, and I got you on board because you had the vision. What I meant was Jason Gunn. Jason Gunn is a childhood hero of mine, and I feel so bad that I actually mistook him for Tim Gunn, who I also like. I like Tim Gunn as well, but
not quite on that heroic pedestal.
It's not like the same as Jason Gunn, and I am so sorry.
He says,
however, I would be more than happy if Tim Gunn wanted to come and join us on this little podcast. I think he'd have some very insightful comments. But Jason, the original offer was for you, okay?
And still is.
So it's like I sent the invitation to the wrong person, but it's returned to me, and now I'm sending it out again. So I've tied it to a pigeon.
And we're sorry, Jeremy Kemp, for getting you so upset that you had to call in and talk to us about it.
Yeah.
But thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Thank you, Jeremy. I'm sorry.
An organisation for humans with extraordinarily mundane abilities, led by the Segway-bound Professor Extra. The students hone their exceptionally niche and normally useless abilities to save humankind from a series of bizarre occurrences. Now, before we start today's episode, I want to address a few things from the last chapter. Many of you have messaged us on Facebook, angry that the location of Professor Extra's School for the Extraordinarily Mundane is not actually situated on 102 Great South Road in Epsom. In fact, it isn't even on a hill in a weatherboard villa. This is correct. We didn't want to actually use a person's house in case, as we suspected, some of our more eager fans may make a pilgrimage to said location. What you instead found, to your great disappointment, was a medical centre. This medical centre is the office of an excellent psychiatrist who I think you would really benefit from talking to about this errant fashion with fictional story about not-so-superheroes in New Zealand. Anyway, on with the show. The clock struck 12. Queen Street eerily quiet, though it was a Monday night. Only those up to no good would wander about here now. Inside the theatre, a prestigious building in an Art Deco style, juxtaposed against the modern minimalist coffee shops and banks, an unassuming figure peeks out from the stage curtains. Confident of their solitude, they strut out onto the empty stage, long coat swishing, arms stretched out to their imaginary crowd, and takes a magnanimous bow.
Thank you. And for my next trick, I will unlock this padlock without a key.
The figure drew a large brass padlock from their pocket, with the over-the-top flair of a top magician showing off the lock to the empty chairs. Flamboyantly flashing the key, and with one giant gulp, swallowed it whole.
Oh.
With a devilish grin, the figure raised their hands, nails growing extraordinarily quickly, somehow morphing them into the shape of a key, as if by some cuticle topiary trick. Index nail inserted into the lock, and with a mighty twist, the nail snapped off with a feeble crack.
Ah!
Frustratedly picking out the nail remnants, they attempted the next finger, and the next, and the next, and the next, to no avail. The flimsy nails falling sadly into an ever-growing pile, growing ever more incensed at their embarrassing performance.
What's the use? What's the use of this ridiculous ability if I cannot use it?
The hubbub of early morning commuters had snuck up on the infuriated performance artist. The clock struck 6, breaking the monotonous trance of unsuccessful lockpicking. Startled, they slunk off stage and out into the newly broken dawn, leaving no trace but a pile of misshapen nails on centre stage.
Hello? Is that Professor Extra?
This is he.
Oh, good. We have a bit of a conundrum on our hands. The police laughed us off, but there's something strange happening at the theatre. Security cameras were somehow switched off last night. The last footage showing cleanup crew and a spotless stage. But then this morning, it was horrible. There was a giant pile of deformed fingernails right at the center of the stage, just sitting there, mocking me. They looked so monstrous.
My, how peculiar. Not to fear, I will be there at 1:15 the hour.
Thank you. Please hurry.
Professor Extra, pleased to have a new case on his hands, whirred from his office to the student dorms with the vigour of a much younger man. Opening the heavy door without first knocking, he gazed upon his students.
We have a case down at the theatre. An intriguing mystery. No trace of who it could be. Nothing but a rather mountainous pile of grossly deformed nails.
The students looked up from their card games, intrigued at this unusual scene set by their esteemed professor. They looked at each other, and then at the professor. Who would be picked for this team?
Breadsticks and Pan, I want you as backup. Clive, you're my surveillance, and my second pair of eyes.
Breadsticks and Pan high-fived. They made an excellent team on the battlefield and in the kitchen. Clive, happy to be included, exclaimed,
"Away!"
The remaining students resumed their card games while the away team prepared for their adventure.
When you are ready, take the Corolla. Park it on the side street. It's cheaper than Wilson's parking. Those greedy, extortionate parking peddlers. I'll meet you there. I want to feel the breeze in my hair and the ground beneath my wheels.
And so, with Clive at the wheel, the team set off in their robust and reliable Corolla wagon at a reasonable speed with responsible driving. Clive, ever the connoisseur of music, put on a CD of Mongolian throat singing, enthusiastically harmonising in Swiss German. Breadsticks rolled his eyes at Pan, who chided him for his intolerance. While she'd much rather be listening to the dank beats of George FM, she was getting tired of the current EDM trend with panic attack-inducing build-ups and disappointing drops. Mongolian throat singing was at least better than that faux folk jazz Breadsticks was always making her playlists of.
Well, thank you for listening to the podcast. That was proudly brought to you by... Well, I mean, we don't actually have a sponsor as of yet. This segment's kind of a placeholder at the moment. But if you think that you want to sponsor the show, then maybe contact us. That'd be pretty cool. All good if you don't as well. I mean, yeah, it's your decision. It's a pretty good show, I think. It's okay. We're kind of looking for a sponsor at the moment.